I get asked a lot of times, how do the kites stay up in the air? And sometimes I say, how do you think they stay up in the air? And the answer is, a lot of the times, well, you must put helium in the kites, don't you? Now, I don't talk to everyone that comes up to me, and actually, there are two people that I see out there. There's this one kind of person that shouts at me from the car, and they're sitting inside there, and I just point to my ears. I say, I've got earplugs in. And you would think that they would automatically believe that, well, if he can hear the question, then obviously he can hear. But there's a societal norm here, and that is, if you have the earplugs in, headphones or whatever, or in my case, I wear earplugs out on the water all the time. If you have them in, the message is, don't talk to me. It's a societal norm. And I'm thinking, why is it that we keep on trying to separate ourselves from other people? But I got so far off track. What I want to talk about is helium. Now, I would never, ever lie to a spectator. Of course not, so I tell them the truth. Of course we use helium. How else is it going to stay up? But you know what? I believe her name was Dr. Martha, I believe a phrenologist or something of the sort. I saw her the first day, then I saw her again the second day. And the second day, I didn't have a tube kite that you pump up by hand. I had a floppy kite that you just lay on the ground and something happens and then it's in there flying around. And she asked me, well, you're not pumping up that kite. How does that stay in there? And I had to tell the truth. I don't know. I think it's witches, or perhaps it captures the helium in the air. Now, of course, she believed me when I said, I don't know how kites work. That part she did believe. And she also seemed to think that helium was involved. You know, I can never tell how fast it looks when I'm watching these videos. Am I going 20 miles an hour, 30? It doesn't matter. I never keep track because if it feels fast, it is fast. How fast am I going? I never know. All I know is that when you're a beginner, you can be going 5 miles an hour and it'll feel like you're absolutely blazing down the ice. But then as you get a little bit better, then pretty soon you're running top speed and someone clocks you going 50 miles an hour. And you feel, oh, didn't feel that fast today. But if you do crash, it's not a big deal because what will happen is, unlike the grass or the sand or the gravel, if you do crash, all that happens is you slide for a long time. You see, it's like the old adage, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop. And the same on ice. It doesn't matter how fast you go, because unlike land, which will grab you and stop you instantly, on ice, you slow down gently, no matter how fast you're going. It's wonderful to kite outdoors, and I enjoy it a lot, but it's even better if you can have more than one person that you're kiting and they're watching. Of course, I don't count the spectators. So I don't consider them as really humans. I only consider other kiters as understanding what we're doing, you know, because like I said about the helium, that's not a joke. I've been asked, how much helium do you put in the kites? And I've always told the truth. We have a special helium canister that we put inside the pumps. I never lie about that. The thing is, they don't understand the difficulties that it's hard for them to really understand what's going on. You know, I sometimes think that the problem with the isolation in our modern world isn't the fact that technology is keeping us apart. It's the fact that as you get richer as a society, you grow apart because you're no longer living in your mom's basement when you have enough money to have a place of your own. And if you have to share a ride with a friend of yours because you can't afford a gasoline, then you have a friend. But if you're rich enough to configure your own van all by yourself and you can afford to get gasoline for it and you're motoring down, you're doing the whole thing solo. And that's what has caused the isolation. Perhaps it's not the fact of technology that has caused our societal isolation. It's the fact that we've become rich enough to become isolated. Perhaps that's the problem. But I don't know. What I do know is you would come up to me and ask me how I'm doing. If you stay in your car, I'm going to put to my ears and say, can't hear you, friend. And then they will go away. But if you get out of your car, then I'll have respect, because at least you have set one single foot into the nature that is all around us. And that's all I ask. That you get out of your car, take a look around, that you walk out on the ice. You won't fall through. And if you do fall through, we'll be out there to save you. But you know, they never say, do you use hydrogen to keep your kites in the air? It's always helium. And I think there's a good reason for that, because even though generation to generation we've forgotten everything, algebra, calculus, how to determine what the weather's going to be like by looking at the bark, we don't know any of that stuff. But one thing we do remember are things like the Hindenburg crashing and the beautiful tragedy there. So they never ask, are you using hydrogen in your kites, because that would be dangerous. And they are looking out for me in their own special way, because they don't want us to end up flaming down the ice with a giant exploding bag of hydrogen. Though that would be pretty cool. And if you are a pro kiteboarder, just think about it. It would look pretty cool. And I know that you guys will do anything for views. So just keep in mind, fill it up, not with helium, but hydrogen. And light it on fire. Well, actually, I don't want you guys to get hurt. Don't do that, though it would be a cool video. If you're curious about the gear I've been using, I have hockey pants on, helmet, Fly Surfer Soul 10 meter, 10 meter Nash pivot, and of course the ice carver, which makes the ice feel just like you're on snow. It's a great time to be out on the ice because of this new invention, the ice carver.